If you're stuck feeling zombie-ish every time you try to sit down and complete a creative task, start doing these things and watch how they're gonna help you out. If you're struggling coming up with new ideas, being more creative, or even just in the creative block right now, these things have personally helped me, and now I don't face creative block anymore. I'm always coming up with new ideas and I'm always in a state of creative flow. So the first thing that you want to do is actually you want to start talking to yourself more. Start talking out loud more, actually. And it's not crazy. People like to make it sound like you're crazy for talking to yourself, but they don't notice that people who talk to themselves are better at problem solving. They're better at organizing their thoughts as well. So start talking to yourself more. If you have a problem, just speak out loud. Say, I don't know what I'm gonna cook today. Start having a conversation with yourself. And it's gonna keep the thoughts outside of just staying in your brain. You're actually gonna organize your thoughts way better if you do this. Instead of just keep it in your mind, you're gonna lose your train of thought and you're gonna forget the ideas that you come up with. So when you start talking to yourself more, it's gonna have a back and forth flow and you're eventually gonna come to a conclusion. Because if I just try to keep my thoughts in my head, they're gonna get lost. And even if you try to say that, oh, I'm not gonna forget what I'm thinking, you're gonna forget it because it's just gonna stay in a loop and it's gonna eventually go to the back of your mind and then you can't pick it back up again. So start talking out loud more, start speaking to yourself more. And when you come up with something, start saying it out loud because this will actually help you. And now if you're looking for more visual inspiration, I like to use apps such as Pinterest because it shows you a whole bunch of different pictures and it's more visually inspiring than Instagram is, because when you pin something on your profile or you save the picture, Pinterest is going to show you more of these photos. And what you want to do is you want to mix different elements of different pictures. You don't want to copy the image directly from Pinterest because that's not really turning it into your own. So I might take one picture that I like and I'll take some aspects of it and I'll twist it, make it my own way. And I might take some aspects from a different picture and boom, you put it together, and then you put it together and you come up with your own thing that's creative and has never been done before. So if I like to get visual inspiration, I'd go to Pinterest. That's my number one place that I go. That's my favorite app to go to if I need more photo ideas, or if I'm trying to come up with something new for a painting. Or it doesn't only help with painting. If you're into fashion, that's a good place to go to come up with new outfit ideas, and you can add your own flavor to it. And the next thing now is to have more space in between your moments of deep creative thought and deep creative flow, because it takes a lot of brain power to get into this creative flow, and you're using a lot of your brain power with coming up with new ideas. So you want to fully recharge after each time you go through it, because if you have it back to back every single time, you're eventually going to run out of fuel and you're going to have a harder time pushing through and completing projects that you start. So having this gap allows you to recharge, and it also helps you gain more strength creatively. When you recharge it, you're going to have even more to work with the next time because you have grown and you have developed this skill. And it works especially with painting. If you're painting, you want to have these gaps in between when you work, because if you always have back and back work, you're not gonna have as much energy on the next piece that you make, and it will probably become increasingly worse and like less quality if you do back to back without having any sort of gaps, and you spend too much time on one project and you try to spend even longer on the next one. It's not going to be as high quality of work. Even if you might think that you are getting high quality work, you are essentially using a drained battery and using a drained battery never ends out well. Apart from Pinterest, you want to consume more educational content on social media. So this can be through YouTube, watching educational content, and you want to expand your knowledge on different areas, because say you want to design an airplane or a car, studying more aerodynamics and seeing how they impact the car or the plane will help you come up with new ideas on how to design it so it can become even better. So having a better knowledge on aerodynamics than somebody with a base knowledge is gonna help you come up with new insights. You might think, oh, let me curve the flaps this way or the wings this way. When you increase your knowledge in one area, you're gonna come up with new insights, because you'll come up with better connections on how different things work, and you'll see how one thing can connect to another and see how they can help each other out. And now the next thing that you want to do if you are struggling with creative block is to change up your environment. This can be your room, the place that you live, or a new spot to visit. Because when you're surrounded by the same stuff every single day, you're gonna keep the same thought patterns that you have when you're in those environments. So even when I was in Spain, I saw this, because you're in such a different environment compared to the United States, and the way how they live life and their qualities over there are different than how they are over here. So that's gonna instantly make you think differently. It's gonna give you a new perspective and a new thought pattern. And when you come back to your old environment, you're gonna notice things that you didn't before. You're gonna start seeing these things, and you're gonna come up with new ideas. You're gonna come up with new insights. So you want to change up different things. You want to change up your layout of your room. If you're struggling with creative block or you're having trouble coming up with new ideas, switch up the way how your room is. Like, you might put up a different picture on a different wall, or even just move the placement of your bed. This will help you out, because you want to break out of your original thought patterns, because keeping your original thought patterns is going to bring you to the same conclusions that you already had before, and you want to break away from those conclusions that you had before. So switching up the order of your room is so simple, but it's actually very effective in helping you come up with new ideas, or if you're struggling with being more creative. This is something that I like to do too, because I don't keep my room the same layout for more than like 5 months at a time. If it's been this way for a long time, I'll switch it up and I'll try to put it in a way how it hasn't been before. And you can do this like every 6 months or so, or whenever you're struggling with coming up with new ideas. Switch up the way how things are, or even go to a new spot. If you have a favorite spot to visit outside, then try going to a different spot, seeing how that helps you out, and really embrace the change, because you want to learn more and see how you can apply it into different areas. Okay, you don't want to stay the same. You don't want to stay in the same place for too long, because you're not gonna grow if you do that. And this also ties to changing out the layout of your room. You also want to have more color and vibrance in your room. If you have just plain white walls all around you, you are trapping yourself in a white box. You want to have more color in your room. Start putting up more posters, putting up more paintings or whatever. Put some greenery in your room too. Put some plants in your room if there's nothing in there. It's gonna make you feel more free, because whenever you feel like you're under surveillance, or you feel like you're boxed in, you don't come up with as creative of ideas. Creativity comes from you being able to think without being criticized for it. And when you're able to think without feeling trapped, you will naturally come up with better ideas. You'll come up with better thoughts. So start putting more color in your life, bringing more color into your room. If you don't have much vibrance in your office, your studio, your room, whatever, your house, start putting more of that into your house. because if everything is just the same and it's monotone, you are gonna become a monotone person, and that's gonna feed into how you think. You don't want to think in black and white, you want to think in full color spectrum. And the next thing that you want to do is you want to talk to more people. Talk to more people and listen to them. Don't always just feed into what your thoughts are. Start listening to more people, because say I talk to somebody who is a huge fan of watching hockey. Now, me personally, I don't really watch hockey that much, so even me just learning from them, I might come up with a new insight, because everything could be tied back to each other. So they might say something and then I'm like, whoa, yeah, that actually makes sense. Like, this is the exact same as over here. So now I'm taking some insights from somebody who is well knowledge in a different area and applying that into different parts and seeing how everything is all connected with each other. And that only comes from when you expose yourself to these environments and these changes. You always want to change who you're talking to, always want to change where you are, your environment. And these are going to break you out of your original thought patterns. Being creative, it just comes from breaking out of your original thought patterns and coming out of that loop and coming up with the same conclusions. You want to see how different conclusions can come about by adding these different things into your life and seeing the differences and the similarities between each other. So start talking to more people, start talking to people with different interests, different backgrounds, who live in different areas in the world, and you're gonna become a more creative person because you have a better knowledge of how things work, and you're not stuck to the same things. You want to listen to them. Don't just block them out because they're not of the same background or they don't have the same interests as you. Listen to them and see what they have to say, because it's going to help you out one way or another. The next thing that you want to do is always come up with new projects for yourself, new creative projects. This can be a new painting or a new paper or anything of creativity. And you don't want to spend too much time on one project at a time. You want to move through different projects. Okay, if you spend too much time on one project at one time, then you're gonna become tired of it and you're not gonna come up with anything new. You want to always come up with new things, okay, and take that gap in between. You don't want to push them all together and then you're exhausted afterwards. Do one thing, don't spend too long on it, start doing another one, and then when you start the new thing, you're gonna have a brand new palette to work with. And you might even come up with new insights that you can apply to your old one, so you can always come back from your second project to the first one and add more things that you learn on the way, because you don't want to stay in the same mindset for too long. You want to change your mindset as you go along, and you learn as you do that. You learn from changing these things instead of keeping it the same thing on one project for months on end. You're gonna become burnt out from that. So you don't want to spend too long on one thing. You always want to change the things that you do and challenge yourself with new projects and implement that small gap in between each one. Don't make each one back to back. This last thing that I have now is to create a habit of writing down your thoughts on your notes app or in pen. Start writing down your thoughts more, because you want to essentially extract everything that you have in your mind and put it into words and put it into paper, because you could come back to a thought and see that it was a good one and you're like, oh yeah, I did think this, yeah, this is a pretty good idea, let me go with it. Because if you don't write it down, you're gonna forget it and you're gonna have trouble finding it again. So every time that you come up with a new idea, write it down. Keep a notes app with you, or keep a journal close to you every time you start to come up with these ideas. And doing it in the morning will help you out too, because that's when your mind is freshest. Not saying that you only have to do it in the morning, but that's the time when you will come up with the most ideas rather than doing it late at night at like 10 p.m. Start creating a habit of writing down your thoughts because it's going to help you out. It's going to keep you more organized. You don't want to lose your thoughts that you have. You want to keep them in one place and you can build upon those thoughts later on. That is what I have today for if you want to come up with new ideas and if you don't want to burn out creatively, if you're facing it right now or you want to avoid it. Start doing these simple things and you will see a change in how creative you are, how you come up with new ideas, and you won't face any of these problems in the future. So I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.